Hello everybody and welcome or welcome back to the second shelf and to the last video about my August challenge, 30 books in 30 days, read 30 books in 30 days. So this is my August wrap up and at the same time the wrap up of the challenge. As I told you already in the video, the book haul video last Sunday, I did finish the challenge and I read 30 books in 30 days and I'm really happy about it. And I think I already said in that book haul video that I absolutely immensely enjoyed the reading August, the focus on reading. And I know I'm really, I have to be grateful, and I am, that I'm in a position to be able to dedicate this month to reading because I'm not having a stressful job. Actually, August is the most quiet month most of the time. I don't teach, so I have all the time in the world and I don't travel. I'm really lucky that I can do that. And I had a blast. So anyway, I'm going to talk about a couple of books that I finished since the last check-in that I had 2 weeks ago. But first, as always, with my with the wrap-up, because this is also a regular kind of monthly wrap-up, a couple of statistics. So, and I will leave the sheet with the statistics here as always. So I read 30 books, obviously, almost half fiction and non-fiction. So 16 fiction, 14 non-fiction. I read 4 translated works because August is also Women in Translation Month. And I always try to read more translated or as much translated fiction as I can fit in. I also read 6 German books. They don't count for the Women in Translation because for me, they're not translated, but still, I read 6 books that count for the 1001 Women Challenge. I have to make some room to update you on these 2 challenges. Read Europe. I didn't read any books that qualify for that challenge, but 6 books for the 1001 women I have to read before I die. 3 books were rereads. As I told you, I think the last check-in video or the first video I made for the challenge. Obviously, the idea behind this challenge is not just to read 30 books, but also to read books from the TBR, because in July, as you know, is my birthday month. A lot of books come in, and I want to read those books sooner rather than later. I always feel when I look, I still have books from 2, 3, 4 birthdays ago. Not many, but a couple. So I do try in August to read actually the books that I just brought in, or at least books of my TBR. But in between the challenge, sometimes I need a little breather, and then I reread. Because rereading is relatively fast. I know that I like the book. So sometimes I need a little break, as it were, from new books and new information, and then I reread. So 3 rereads I had this month. And I also read 4 books by male authors. So that's the statistics. Let's get into the books. And I will start with a book that I can't really talk about because it was for the BookTube prize. I just hauled it in the book haul last week, and that is Undue Burden by Shefali Luthra, published last year, 2024. And this is a book about the legal situation, but also the situation more in general. Just before Roe v. Wade fell in August 2024, and June it was, and it looks at the various states and how they dealt with Dobbs, the decision. So it is a broad overview over the situation, the current situation in the US when it comes to abortion laws. I will talk about this book probably in my next check-in video in September at some point. And then from my birthday pile, I also finished another non-fiction book, Claudia Jones, A Life in Exile. This is a republishing, 2020. I think the book by Marika Sherwood, by the way. The book was published originally, I don't know, I think in 2019 or something. So Marika Sherwood is, you can hardly see it, but that's the name of the author. She was, I should say, because she died, I think, a year ago or 2 years ago. She was a British scholar, and she was foundational, so to speak, for a certain type of study that look at Black lives in the UK. And she, I think she died 2 years ago, maybe. Not quite sure, but anyway. So this is a new series of books, the Radical Black Women series, and that's why this book was republished. So it says A Life in Exile. Claudia Jones, if you're not familiar, she was a Black activist, communist, born in the Caribbean, but exiled with her parents to the US, and then she had to leave the US because she was too left-wing, too much a communist, so she immigrated again to the UK. She died very young, when she was in her 40s, I think. She had health issues all her life, and she died very young. But she was, I don't think there is a picture in here near one, but it's not a very good picture. No, not really. Anyway, I thought, I feel Claudia Jones is a fascinating woman. The way she helped organize Black women. She addressed the specific issues when it comes to left-wing thought of Black women. I really admire her work, and she is not that well known in the mainstream, so I was happy that I found a book about her life. This, I will say, is not a biography. It is more a collection of articles, as you can see, from the, Claudia in the US, then to London, then the British Communist Party. It is a forward-moving timeline, but it's more organized in these chapters about a certain time in Claudia Jones's life and certain issues. So it's not, it's a bit dry. Let's put it like that. But I find it interesting because for the first time I had a little bit of extra information other than what you can Google about this fascinating woman. So I definitely enjoyed it, but I don't think it is the type of book for everyone, but if you're interested in Claudia Jones, I can certainly recommend this. The next book was also nonfiction and also a birthday present. It was a birthday present from Heidi, from my reading life, and I read it together with her, and that was Yung Chang's biography, Empress Dowager Cixi, published in 2013. Yung Chang, I think you probably know her book Wild Swans. She also wrote a book about four sisters in China that I read with Heidi, and we really enjoyed. And this one is about this woman. So Cixi was born in 1835, and she became one of the concubines of the emperor at the time in China when she was 15 or 16. And because she bore a son, the emperor's son, and the emperor died when he was young, she became a regent. And she basically ruled China for more than 4 decades, from the 1860s until her death in 1908. And she is fascinating. She is not, she is a complicated person, or she was a complicated person. So it's not, all good. She did questionable stuff as a ruler, but she was also the force behind modernizing China in the second half of the 19th century. So the education system, the railways, she had laws against foot binding. She is fascinating. I thought, and this book is really, really interesting. Yung Chang can tell a story. If you follow my channel, oftentimes biographies bore me because it's a lot of facts, it's a lot of data, it's a lot of information, but there's no story. And often I feel biographers or historians think it's enough to present data and do your research. Well, it's not. I want to be told a good story, and Yang Chang can tell a good story. So this was really fantastic. Then another birthday present this time from Adam, from Memento Mori. He gifted me, among other things, this book, Weird Fucks by Lynn Tillman, republished in 2021. I have never read Lynn Tillman. I didn't know her. So this was interesting. It was originally published beginning of the 1980s, and it's highly autobiographical, at least that's what it says. And it's about this young woman's life and her encounter with various men. And it was really weird in a way, because it was it had so much the 1960s and 70s vibes. And I came of age in the 1970s. So I'm born 1960. So my first, boyfriend, that was all in the mid 70s. And it was kind of nostalgic, but also, for me, a little outdated in a way, because I've definitely moved on from that type of vibe. But yeah, it was interesting, and I definitely want to try something else by her. So yeah, thank you, Adam. And then the last book I read was by the same author as the first book in the 30 in 30 challenge, and that is Ursula Le Guin. The first book I read, I always start, I think I told you that in the first video, I always start with really small books. So to kind of get momentum and get ahead. And this first book I read was another present from Adam, The Carrier Bag Theory of Fiction, and it's really tiny. So that was the first book, nonfiction, I read for the challenge. And the last book, incidentally, another present from Adam, but from 2 years ago, and that was Ursula Le Guin's Into the Desert Across the Ice, which was published in 2021. And this is a collection of, also tiny, a collection of 3 stories. The first one is called Buffalo Girls, Won't You Come Out Tonight? It's about a young girl whose airplane crashes, and she's saved by a coyote. And then, and the second is a very short little story called She Unnames Them, about a woman who starts to unname creatures and then also unnames herself. And the last one, Soar, I think I loved most, is about a female expedition around the time of Scott and Amundsen to the Antarctica, to the South Pole, a secret female expedition nobody knew about. I just love her style. Even the story that did not work that well for me, the first one, I still loved reading it because I just love the way she uses or used language. So yeah, this was a very successful kind of book ending my 30 in 30 challenge with two Le Guins, and I really liked both of them. So it was a good start and a very good ending. Anyway, this is my August wrap up and also the wrap up of my 30 books in 30-day challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. As always, looking forward to your comments. And I will be traveling next week, so there won't be a video next Sunday. So I will see you in 2 weeks, on Sunday in 2 weeks.